So let's start with that. So now that all the pressure is off, what is like? Why would somebody buy $1.5 million home right now? Like why?
That $2.5 million house now would probably be closer to 3 million 2 years ago. So you could get a little bit more home for the price point in the current market.
So you saving $1 million from what you would have in 2020?
Yeah. So opportunities, educated buyers are going to buy. That's the current market. Educated buyers are going to buy. Educated realtors are going to thrive. Educated lenders are going to continue to thrive too. So a $2.5 million house is still a $2.5 million house, just depending on how you want to leverage it.
So we went from 1.5 to 2 million to 2.5. So I agree. I think today, that $1.5 million house, if Jerome Powell comes out and says, we're going to lower rates. He's already paused twice. He said, hey, we're going to pause raising rates.
Yeah.
We're not going to raise rates anymore. Okay, cool. Pause. Next meeting, everyone is expecting that he's going to lower rates. If he starts lowering the rates, what's going to happen is the $1.5 million house, like John and Mary that didn't buy in 2021, John's going to turn to Mary and say, hey, honey, we should buy. It's time. Rates are going down. We got to buy. But it's not just John and Mary. It's every John and Mary in the entire city, in every city, are going to be like, hey, we missed out on the last boom when rates were at 3%. Now we got to go buy. So that's about to happen, bro, in 6 months. So now he starts to lower rates. This $1.5 million house is going to go up to 2 million by default just because of the pressure of having 10 people in line waiting to look at a house. Just like we had 18 months ago, 24 months ago.
Yeah. So technically, higher interest rates is a doorway for buyers to enter the market that couldn't buy
No doubt.
in 2021.
And they can always lower that rate.
Yeah, I had clients that lost out on like 5 different homes because price point, right? $400,000 home, offered $415,000, sold for $450,000, right? Consistently losing out over $20,000, $30,000 because, as you know, there's the offer deadline. They don't really disclose what it is. And so they lost out. Now, this would be their time to buy because that $400,000 house now, you could buy it for $400,000 versus $415,000 or $450,000 what it would sell for. But you have to, take on a 7% interest rate. But that interest rate is going to protect you from other buyers, uneducated buyers, right? And so now they could grab that home, pay an additional X amount a month, wait for that interest rate to get closer to what that 2020, 2021 interest rate of around 3%. But if they can lock it in,
which will happen by election time.
Which could happen, who knows? But purchase this house for the next 2 years. They eat $200, $300, $400 a month, but that is still less than paying $15,000 to $50,000 overall for a loan amount, right?
For a purchase price, not even a loan amount.
Exactly.
It's a legit purchase price. Yeah.
So, a lot of the negative feedback of interest rates is like they're super high right now. But if we look at, I know you spoke on this before, if we look at the positive in everything, the interest rate is extremely positive for those buyers that don't have the cash to be competitive in the long term. But if they could eat additional $200, $300, $400 a month for a year or two, then refinance their loan, this is the best market for buyers that can't compete with people sitting on large amounts of cash.
And not even a year or two, I'm telling you, I will bet $100 on this. I'm not a betting man, but I probably would. By the time summer comes around of 2024, this video, we're going to go back to it.
Yeah.
And I assure you, I will not be eating my words. Like, it will be lower, for sure. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be insane. I think that new plateau of, new threshold is going to be set. By the time rates come down, prices are going to skyrocket, and there's going to be a new plateau. And I hope to God that you're watching this and thinking, yeah, I should buy now. I should do it. Or I should at least game plan to buy now.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. because the people that are sitting there, they're like, hey, I'm just going to wait for interest rates to drop. They don't know what a drop really means. They don't know what a 7% means in comparison. Because if you're like, hey, it's 7% right now, a year ago it's 5%, tell me what the price difference is. They'd probably be like, well, it's a percent, 2%, right? It's not the percent that matters, it's the monthly amount, right? We always tell, especially you tell people, what can you afford a month, right? We don't really care about the overall price of the home. This is what you could afford every month. That amount, right?
That's how we max out, right?
Yeah,
we max out, hey, here's your max. You don't have to hit it, but that's the max.
And so when I hear people say, like, it's pretty comical now, and I no longer have energy to conversate with people, and they're like, oh, it's too high, it's 7% right now. I'm waiting for it to get to 4 or 5%, but it's like, okay, tell me what that 4 or 5% looks like. Like, how much money are you saving? I don't know, but I just need to wait. So it's like, what is that game plan for when it does hit 5%?
Right.
Are you scrambling around? Because as soon as it hits 5%, you touched on this before, that same house that has 2 people looking at it right now is going to have 25 people looking at it. And do you think you could afford that house at 5%?
That's a reality,
They're going to say,
That's
they're going to be like,
reality.
yeah, it's 5% interest rate. But now come up with additional $50,000 cash
Totally.
for your earnest, for your whatever you want to be competitive.
Yeah.
Then they're going to be like, now the market's too competitive because it's 5%. And I think the new terminology is going to be, I need the interest rates to go back up to help me buy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pick your poison.
Yeah, it's
that's
pick
the
your
name of this video. Pick your poison.
Yeah. So right now, interest rates are amazing for certain buyers. If they go to 4%, they're going to be, they're going to destroy buyers too. If we get 4% interest rates again, there's going to be so many buyers kicked out of the market.
It will be a reverse crash.
Yeah.
It will be a reverse crash, for sure.
4% could destroy buyers. There's
will.
buyers right now needing
It
to
will.
see the interest rates actually, I think, go
Yeah.
up. It would help buyers go if it went
Correct.
up right now.
Because they can, dude, sellers are willing to talk to you. They are willing to hang out for
Pay
7 days and negotiate.
Pay your closing costs.
Pay your closing costs.
Buy downs.
Do your buy down.
Give
which
you
is-
furniture, free saunas. I've seen free gifts at closing. Yeah, this is the. If
People
you're-
don't understand, dude. A
yeah.
free sauna. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, whatever.
$3,000 sauna,
But it's stuff you never buy for yourself, but like you can have. You can just come in and just get creative. Be like, you know what? I like all this furniture, and this house is $500,000, and that he may have rented all that furniture for $1,000. He can go to the company and say, I need all this furniture for 10 grand. Get you the furniture. He's out 10 grand, but you'll buy the house at 500. Like it's
Yes.
that type of environment. You can just ask for what you want.
Buyers have options. I've seen buyers take whole furniture out of a master or primary bedroom and living room and sauna in the backyard. If the interest rate's 4% and you go in there as a buyer and you're like, hey, I want to keep the sauna in the primary bedroom furniture, they're going to laugh at you and be like, okay, get your offer off the table. I got 5 guys waiting right now.
Oh yeah.
Backup.
Oh yeah, exactly. If rates are down, it's a wrap, bro.
yeah.
It is a wrap. Again, because everyone and their mom are gonna come out and say, I didn't buy last time, I have to buy now. And if they don't buy then, guys, this whole I think I made a video about this. Did I tell you about when I reached there's a specific person that I talked to, and people are gonna trash on this because I can't name this guy, but this guy is like, he doesn't think about who's doing his laundry or who's doing the dishes at his house. Like, he's always thinking macro. Multi-millionaire thinking macro. What's the price of wheat in Afghanistan and the price of oil in wherever? That's this guy, global markets. And I'm on a call, okay? 30 other guys. And he goes, look, the outlook on interest rates is this. And this is the type of guy you have to listen to. He goes, by the time election time comes, rates will go down. The pressure, mathematical pressure on interest rates is going to be that. And then you got political pressure, you got all this stuff. It's going to go down. By the time that happens, it'll be down for 6 months. And then here's the craziest thing that he said. After that, it's going to go up. Rates are going to go back up. And the new threshold will be set on prices. Once that threshold is set, bro, here's what he said. Americans will never be able to own real estate as they have in the past.
Yeah. It's going to be a luxury item. It's
And
going to be
it's
a renter.
very scary, bro, to say, oh my gosh, all right, this whole globalist thing is real.
Yeah.
Like this whole 2030, blah, blah, blah. all of that stuff that you're like, oh, that's over there, that's far away, da 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 da.
Yeah.
Dude, that's 18 months from now. That's 24 months from now. Americans may not be able to own a home like they used to in the past.
And we see it now because like the normality is to rent. No one's really like pushing people to want to buy because it's such a big industry and there's so much money in it. If I own real estate, I'm not trying to encourage other people to compete with me. I don't want you to own. You rent because you're my client. Like I want you to rent. So you're gonna have lack of education, lack of information because the people that are really purchasing real estate, they don't care what the consumer is doing. They already own it. They're already making their money if you rent. So it's always, you got to look between like the lines and try to figure out when people are like, hey, you know, and media is like, hey, don't buy right now, wait. Why wait? Or you just got to understand like the concept, do whatever's best for you, whatever your financial situation is. But if you don't own, look at the numbers, you're going to see rental prices keep going up. Food keeps going up. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to wait 10 years. If you can't afford now, you're not going to afford in 10 years if you're in the same situation. So yeah, it's just like coming back to like education. Like I'm kind of exhausted on talking to people. If I came up to you and I was like, if you're like, tell me about the real estate market. You get this question all the time. What do you think about the interest rates? I'm like, yeah, okay, interest rates are cool. They're 7% right now. And if your response is, yeah, they're high with nothing else, I'm done talking. Like I'm like, okay, cool. Like they are high, whatever. But if you're like, they're high because of X, Y, Z, unengaged in conversation. But if you're just like, interest rates are 7% and give me no more context of that, I'm not going to explain to you because you already showed me you're not an educated buyer. You haven't even did your research. You're just going off mainstream media. You're just reading an article and you're like 7% is crazy high. It's like, how many times have we seen 7% in the last 10 years? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you have no interest in and you have no interest in learning, which is the worst part, right?
Yeah.
That type of person that's not like, hey, I really, I want to understand. I need to understand this so that I can make the best decision. And
I only want to work with educated professionals. So those are buyers and sellers. If they're
that's
educated,
you guys. That's the people watching this,
yeah,
right?
If you're not educated, I don't have time to go around educating at this. You know what I mean? Like if you need me to explain a 7% interest rate and it's been 7% for the last, I don't know, 6 months or whatever, and if I'm like,